Good morning and welcome to the PPA Tour Australia. My name is Dylan Kimlin. We are live at Focus Pickleball Redcliffe, about to get underway with our semi-finals for our mixed action for your Sunday morning. Sit alongside me is Adam Hall. Adam, good morning, mate. How are we doing?
Very well, my friend. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. Looking forward to a fantastic day of pickleball. Day 3 here at Redcliffe Tennis Centre. And it is a beautiful day, Dylan. Not a cloud in the sky.
Absolutely perfect. I actually drove past a triathlon on the way in here. They had a massive one here at our local Redcliffe Esplanade, where as the water is about 1 kilometre away from our courts, as a result everyone was going for a swim. Personally, I would be way too cold to be getting in the water right now.
I tend to agree with that. I didn't think there'd be too many athletes getting up earlier than our own pickleball athletes here, but triathlon probably did.
Yeah, not wrong, mate. They're out there well and truly before the sun. But speaking of the sun, it is out and it is shining in the Sunshine State of Queensland. We are about 45 minutes just north of Brisbane. For our international viewers tuning in, we welcome you all with open arms. This is going to be an absolute thriller of a game. We will have the duo of Danni-Elle Townsend going head-to-head with Sarah Burr. These two Gold Coast superstars, very familiar with each other's game. And I'm interested to see how they turn out. The gentlemen on court right now, George Wall, Joey Wild, arguably two of the best men in the Australian pickleball space. This is going to be a thriller, Adam.
Absolutely right. I'm really looking forward to this one. All 4 players actually have other engagements this afternoon in Major League Pickleball, but right now we're looking forward to this mixed doubles event. Really looking forward actually to seeing how Danni-Elle Townsend and Sarah Burr play against each other.
That's right.
They do know their games so well because they partner each other in the Major League Pickleball format. And the boys, well, they're both aggressive types. George Wall, more of a patient pickleballer, slow shot maker.
Yep.
Joe Wild, he likes to get aggressive, constructs points just as well as George Wall, but tends to pull the trigger a little earlier than most and often executes some high-performance shots. So this one's going to be an absolute banger, I think.
Well, banging is especially what I expect to see from the duo of Townsend and Wild. This is a bit of a unstoppable force, meaning a immovable object, considering George Wall, Sarah Burr are renowned defensive players. They will constantly get it back. Danni-Elle Townsend, Joey Wild, on the other hand, guns will be blazing. Just matter who wins first out of the defence v offence.
We should just make mention there is more of a breeze today. Certainly it's going to be in the face of the camera angle that we've got here on screen. Going to be something that definitely all the players are going to have to contend with. Not sure whether you prefer to play with the wind at your back or into it. Certainly makes it challenging to read when you've got it at your back for driving the ball. They can tend to go a bit long at times, but driving into it can be just as challenging. You can really hit it as hard as you like it sometimes, but sometimes you can hit it hard and it just won't go over. And it's been quite gusty here at times, so hoping the weather doesn't have much of a factor, but these pros are definitely going to make it look easy, I'd say.
Well, one thing I want to bring up, I was speaking to Sarah Burr yesterday after her women's events, and she mentioned she was using the sun to her advantage. So it is directly right above the shoulders of the duo closest to screen, Townsend and Wild, as players commence 0-0. Yep, there's that offense I was talking about, Joey Wild capitalising.
Yeah, just put that one up a little bit too high there to George Wall, and Joe Wild makes him pay. Nice early start.
Oh, and again, Joey Wild looking good early in this game.
Great positioning there by Joe Wild just to give that ball a little more time to set up that shot, and he pulled the trigger.
Okay. Scary prospect when the Wild thing is popping off like he is right now. Ernie gets the job done, 2-point lead.
Getting aggressive early. Ominous sign.
down near the feet. And an interesting point to make here, Adam, is that in the PPA event that I called in Sydney, I actually had Danni-Elle Townsend and George Wall as a team. So now they're up against each other.
It's been really interesting. I was having a chat with Mike Newell last night. Really the only pairing in the mix that stays together is Amelia Schmidt and Mitchell Hargraves. A lot of these players have arranged their pairings in advance of consecutive tournaments.
Yeah, not wrong, mate. I liken it to when you pick your ice cream flavour during summer. You usually chop and change to what you like, and these players are in the same boat. First points on the board for the duo of Burr and Wall. Oh, there's the wind. I thought for sure that was going long, and so did Joey and Danny. Fortunately, the breeze had other ideas.
Yeah, Sarah Burr just getting a bit lucky with that wind. It's actually behind her back, but there is the grandstand. So whether or not it's a factor at all, I don't know, Dylan. Great defence.
Oh, defensive powerhouses. Sarah Bird, George Wall eventually crumbling. Danni-Elle Townsend, so much power.
Well done by all players there. Sarah Burr, even though her side lost the point, she had a nice smile, was in appreciation there of Joey Wild and Danni-Elle Townsend.
Absolutely relentless Joey Wild. Repeat entries. Unfortunately, Sarah Burr, not much she could do in that exchange. Net roll working in George's favour.
Touch of luck. Always nice to get that.
Oh, wow. So good by Danny.
She was lightning quick on her feet there. Just recognised the point, recognised the moment.
Just read the movement of George Wall so well to set that up. Perfectly played. Sarah Burr exchanging.
Turns defence into attack there. Nice little reset. Popped it up a little high, but Joe Wild couldn't make the most of it. When he hit back, she hit back.
Oh, rare error there from Burr. Trying to pull the trigger.
Keen to test her luck against Joe Wild with a drive there.
ATP, yes indeed. Danni-Elle Townsend, fist pump is good.
Just caught a bit of tape on its way over and gave Danni-Elle Townsend the opportunity to pause for a moment, wind up and go ATP. Beautiful shot.
There we go, speed up by George. I will say, I feel like George Wall's been a little bit frozen out here, Adam. We're not seeing too much of his influence thus far.
Yeah, he has. He does like to play very slow pickleball, though. But he can back his partner in here. Sarah Burr, very well accomplished.
Well, that hip to paddle. Side out once more. You're not wrong, Sarah Burr, talking of accomplishments. Arguably the most accomplished player in the Australian pickleball scene to date. Gets the ball back to bring it in. There's the poach.
Great movement by Sarah Burr there. Got a left-hand, right-hand combo too, Dylan. Now, when you have a right-hand, left-hand combo, you don't really need to talk much strategy. You know, I'm staying here, you're staying there.
Yeah, and that's one thing you can't be doing is popping it up to George Wall. Yeah, that right-handed, left-handed combination, if it goes down the middle, expect it to be blasted back. Sarah Burr, George Wall have tied things up for a piece. George Wall starting to fire.
Danni-Elle Townsend testing her luck there, going through the middle. Was always going to be covered off by both players there. George Wall got the paddle to it and just sent it over. Danni-Elle Townsend just couldn't get it back.
A couple of errors here on the side of Danni-Elle Townsend. We wonder, yeah, there we go. There's the timeout from Joey Wild, recognising the momentum shift. And for Sarah and George, as expected, they just chip away, eventually get the lead. The experience on these two is just something to behold.
Yeah, it's really nice of them to have this 2-point lead. It certainly felt like the early momentum was building towards Wild and Townsend. All players playing really evenly at the moment, I think. Everyone's taken their moment. Everyone's played a couple of nice winners here. All really good defensively too. Hot day, so expect a few timeouts here and there, Dylan, just to get a sip of water.
Well, it's an interesting one because it is certainly the sun is out and it's warm when you're in the sun, but we're currently sitting in the shade and I'm quite cool. The ambient temperature I reckon to be about 20 or a little bit lower. Perfect conditions for a great day of pickleball. Play can recommence. Sarah Burr to bring it in, currently 6-4. There we go again. Nice deep return by Townsend is good.
Very, very deep. Sarah Burr just looking at George Wall saying, was that one out? No, it was in.
It looked like he was considering an ATP attempt there. Got caught thinking about it, George.
Yeah, just caught the tape there, just being very tentative with that one.
Search or drop, not good for Joey Wild.
A couple of errors by both male players here. Bit of tension maybe slowly building.
Oh, absolutely brilliant there by Sarah, letting it go. Ball out, side out once more.
Giving Dylan a wry smile there. I've just heard the brilliant for the first time. What a call.
Oh, and again, good speed up. I feel like, Adam, that Danny's, we mentioned earlier her offensive capabilities, but she's continuously offensively trying to put these ones away, not working in her favour. Double lob there from Burr and Wall.
Interesting. Sarah Burr is a fine exponent of the lob. George Well too, but that one just not deep enough. Joey Wild pounced on it immediately.
Oh, Sarah fires back.
Great shot by Burr. Caught Joey Wild a bit off guard there. He was ready for a forehand. Sarah Burr just went straight across his body.
Hop up, put away, Danni-Elle Townsend.
Beautiful combination there by Danni-Elle Townsend into the backhand roll to set that one up, get a high ball out of George Wall. That one was way too high and she was licking her lips ready to pounce on that one.
There we go. That one going long. We're seeing a lot of dinks being directed towards George Wall currently. And another quick 2 points there for the duo of Townsend and Wild.
want to give up serve so easily like that, just as you're starting to build, but they've still got a second serve here, 6-8.
Oh, we have a ball on court. Play can recommence. And again, Townsend had the opportunity there, just couldn't convert.
Well, she really did. It was George Wall actually that made a little error there and put one up high. Townsend couldn't do much with it initially. George Wall made up for his small mistake with a nice little winner there to force the error.
George looked a bit chicken wing there.
He certainly did. He got his paddle to it, but just wasn't ready for it.
Brick Wall in defence. George getting it back multiple times.
Well done there by Wall. Very much a pattern you can see developing with Danni-Elle Townsend. She likes to roll that backhand and force a slow dipping ball that eventually gets a pop up, and then she can get a slam on it. Just needed a partner's help to keep it in play and win that point, but...
Oh, Joey nearly with the highlight play. George Wall, however, stepping up clutch in the important moments. We have a match point situation, or a game point situation, rather. There we go, Townsend fires once more.
Awesome read there by Danni-Elle Townsend, because that ball just clipped the tape and bounced up a little higher, but her stance is so tall, Danni-Elle Townsend. She's waiting there with her backhand, rolls it, hard to hit back.
Oh, flick of the wrist down the left.
Beautiful little shot there by George Wall. A key moment in this match too.
Well, I say the left, it's our left, it's the viewer's right. Either way, great shot. Sarah Burr's just getting her shoelaces tied up. Experienced way to slow down the clock. There we go, slow play for Danni-Elle, working out well. Double A2B is good. Townsend with 2 A2Ps this game, popping off.
So well done there, Dylan, by George Wall to defend that one. He had a far better look and opportunity to actually defend that one than the previous. But Townsend putting a lot of heat on that one, forcing the pop-up. Joe Wild, great court positioning. Recognised the moment. When she's off court, he's got to slide over. When he slid over, the ball popped up right where he wanted it to be. Overhand slam.
Yeah, Joey Wild, Wildfire, Wild Thing. He's got all the funny nicknames with him. Absolutely wonderful bloke. I was lucky enough to have him in the booth thus far throughout our events today. We can just see him having a good chat with our young superstar Danni-Elle Townsend on the right side. Meanwhile, despite being on a game point situation, I feel like the pressure is now back on the side of Burr and Wall.
Certainly is. Obviously, Townsend and Wild have still got the serve, so just a bit of a momentum break here called with the timeout by Wall and Burr. Looking to get back into play here with Joey Wild to serve. Well, the momentum is certainly in their favour after that timeout. Another point, bringing it to a tighter contest, 9-10.
go. Better from George.
Really nice shot. You see the way that he just planted his feet there. Got very steady, ready to hit that hard forehand. Executed straight to the feet of Townsend. Not much he could do.
Oh, down to the feet, Joey Wild. Too good.
Well, George Wall just did such a tremendous job there twice with his reaction speed and his deft touch. Just got stuck in the transition, was always going to struggle the second time round trying to combat the overhead.
How good is that? Response, game on the line, irrelevant.
Awesome work by Townsend there. That was a lot of patient pickleball there, but when she got involved, she decided to hit that back with a little more pace, stepped back off the kitchen line and wound up for the forehand winner, straight down the middle.
So good. Absolutely elite there by Danni-Elle, and hopping around like a Joey Wild, managing to recover so many crazy balls there out of him.
Just the same move again we've just seen there. George Wall, not much he could maybe do other than take up a bit more of that middle to sort of cut that off in anticipation. She's done it twice now. You wouldn't want to see it done a third time.
Speed up is good. Experience by Sarah Burr, recognise the momentum change.
Well, similar shot making there. Sarah Burr giving Townsend and Wild a taste of their own medicine down the middle.
Oh, there we go. Sarah Burr once more. The net recovery from Joey Wild was there. However, second chance opportunity not to be. Currently 10-10-1. Sarah Burr to bring it in. Drop attempt with an error. Just Wild.
Townsend just maybe going against her instincts. Maybe didn't want to try it a third time, but she built it up so nicely. There was definitely an opportunity there. George Wall can maybe count himself a bit lucky that that ball went wide.
There we go. Pressure on the Burr, third and fifth shot drop, not to be, currently 10-11. Townsend and Wild once again survive a game point.
It's a small error on the baseline, but they've just handed back the serve to Wild and Townsend here.
Highlight rally. Incredible defensive effort there from Joey Wild, Danni-Elle, Townsend to take that and tie things up. Joey, just too long.
What a move, though. Really went for it on serve. So why not? Some great defensive efforts here by George Wall. Thoroughly impressive, time and time again. More aggressive there by George Wall.
Yeah.
Earlier in the point too, you don't see that very often. but needing to win back the serve when it's so tight. Couple of points in it to win this one. We're currently even, 11-11.
Oh, so good down to the feet. Sarah Burr unable to recover.
Well, you might have seen Danni-Elle Townsend's paddle just winding up, waiting to strike on that one. She could tell with the wind in play that one was going to sail right into her sweet spot, and it certainly did.
Oh, how good is that? Sarah Burr under relentless pressure there from Joey Wild.
Well, Sarah Burr initiating that one and doing so well against Wild. Wild changing the trajectory of that ball over to George Wall and just caught him a little off guard. He had the paddle there, but did not hit the sweet spot of the paddle for him.
Rare out. Townsend caught awkwardly there. Second server, however, they still have a chance to build some points.
11-11. Sat here for a while, this scoreline. Great work by Wall there.
And the trigger is pulled. George Wall is pumped, side out.
Well, he's fired up all right. That was marvellous reaction speed there by George Wall when it caught the tape. And a beautiful backhand winner down the line of Townsend.
Oh, paddle tap there from Burr and Wall down the middle. And that can be the problem you have with a left-handed, right-handed combination, Adam.
It can. It really can. And the first time it's happened in this match, bit of an unnerving feeling when it does happen too, Dylan, because next time it happens, you're not sure, should I be going for it? Should I be staying out of it? Generally, if both players stay out of it, it goes down the middle for a winner, and that's not a good thing. So these two players, highly experienced. It'll be water off a duck's back next time it happens. It'll be back over the net, I'd say.
The old analogy of middle is the riddle coming into play, and ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what level you play at, it happens to professional players too. So we have an absolute thriller on our hands, pretty much as we expected. 11 apiece right now, Sarah Burr and George Wall. What I love to see is George getting fired up. He's normally such a calm and collected player, but that last winner that he played, could tell he liked it.
Absolutely. Feel like at times maybe Danni-Elle Townsend has got the better of him across the net, but that one was his own winner, constructed so well at an important time. Still 11-11 though. A lot of court time right now in this first set.
Oh, the wind-up. We all knew it was coming.
It's just a lot more dip on that one from the baseline there. Townsend got a paddle to it, but couldn't get it back over.
And it is over. Game one going to the duo of Burr and Wall. What a tremendous first game.
Well, we were in for a treat with that game, and it certainly delivered. Having to take the score past 11 to get the win. Just a bit unfortunate there at the end. A bit of a gust of wind sort of kicked up and maybe put Townsend off a little, but she had great court positioning to get back so quickly to set herself up. But tremendous first set victory there for Wall and Burr. Really looking forward now to this second set. Change of ends, potentially change of strategy too, with a bit of the wind behind the back or in your face.
Well, that's something that I definitely think is relevant, is the wind, in that Sarah and George, arguably the more defensive duo out of the two, they're now having the wind at them. So we already know the offensive capabilities of the duo of Wild and Townsend. It's going to be coming even faster now.
Yeah, it's It's probably something they have to be mindful of, though, to be honest, Dylan. Townsend and Wild. They do have strong drives and strong overheads. Sometimes, though, at the wrong time in a match, you can get the wind just gust up, and if you hit it too hard, it can sail long. So they're going to have to be a bit more reserved and a bit more precise with where they're placing this ball on the court when they get the opportunity. It might suit Burr and Wall.
One way to find out. Game 2 underway. Ooh,
awesome cover there by Sarah Burr.
Yeah, I don't think Townsend expected that second one to come back. There we go, down to the feed. She expected that one, however. George Wall getting caught.
Been a great little battle here from Townsend and Wall, directly facing each other over the net. Oh, it's a great serve by Wall. Not sure what happened to the ball there, but just slowed up a lot.
So good from Joey Wild, pouncing on that one. It's something I mentioned earlier, is that George Wall and Danni-Elle Townsend were teammates in former PPA events. So they know each other's game in and out. Townsend obviously feels comfortable to be able to take him on. Patience there, Sarah Burr, with a bit of a slower one. I think Joey thought it was coming back a lot quicker than it did.
Yeah, just a bit too high there from Townsend. Gave Sarah Burr an opportunity to pounce on, put some heavy speed on that, and Joey just couldn't get it back over. Small bit of wind maybe coming into factor there. There wasn't a gust, but Sarah Burr thought, I better drive this one a bit further, and it just sailed long. So it's the other side of the conditions, Dylan. Can sort of play on your mind when you're playing into it.
Perfect lob by Sarah. Joey's challenged it, confirmed in. I have to say, this is the most I've seen Sarah Burr lob in a long time. Obviously, the sun, she's so experienced. She knows how to use the environment.
Well, yeah, she definitely looks to use it to her advantage. Not afraid to put balls high that are into the sun.
Oh, the smash attempt was there. Townsend had the chance, couldn't convert.
And that's the one, Dylan. That's the one when the wind's behind your back. You've got to be very careful and very precise about where you put it on the court. Otherwise, it can go long. Bit of a come on here by George Wall. Right now, he senses a moment.
You know, I reckon George has had several potential ATP attempts, but he's not gone for it. He's a very consistent player typically.
And he's probably got the opportunity to go for it. He's playing with a left-handed player. She can take the middle. He could go for it. Just wondering if we're going to start to see some more provocative play out of him. They do have the first set. And they do have a nice little lead here.
Down with the toes, you're not getting that one back. And that is the problem you may face when you try and lob the absolute offensive capabilities of Townsend and Wild.
I heard someone say recently, lobbing is like texting an ex. You almost immediately regret it, and your partner's going to be pissed.
Oh, mate, we're definitely seeing that in the case. I will say it's probably a 50-50 split right now for a Sarah Burr lob from a percentage of how, if it pulls off correctly or not. Well, once again, goes up in the air, returns with interest. Wild and Townsend. Oh, is Joey okay? He's just looking down at his feet. Hopefully nothing pulled up tight. That's a side out. There's an ATP. An unorthodox one, but it'll count.
Been fascinated for a long time, and just the technique that Sarah Burr uses to take the pace off the ball. She kind of just rises up like a frog in the air. It works.
I say she does a Toyota jump when she recovers, mate. It's entertaining, let's put it that way. There we go, that's better. Close game still, despite it being quite a long game already. We're only up to 3-2. Joey Wild trying to pull the trigger there.
Yeah, you won't see that very often from Joey Wild, and I don't think he's going to do it again too soon in this match, because he's more of a tentative, nice and placing it in the kitchen sort of player. Likes to come to the kitchen line to then set up a shot.
Couple of return errors here on the side of Wall and Burr. Tied things up 3 apiece. Townsend fires, too good.
She just does that so well, Townsend. Just to start putting a bit of extra pace on it. Slow dipping ball. Sets up a small error from Burr there and allows her to play the same shot with a lot more pace this time. Just catches people off guard often, that one.
Oh, Joey Wild down and a bit of a stare down.
Not there, he says to Sarah Burr. Not there.
Oh, diving recovery from George Wall.
He's okay.
He's okay. He has had lower limb and lower back injuries for quite some time. We hope George is okay. We've had an immediate timeout from Sarah Burr, so hopefully he's all good. They do keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the players do have 2 timeouts and 1 medical timeout should they decide to use it.
It does look okay. He's walking off court nicely there. I just think he wants a moment to sort of compose himself. Unfortunately, he has had a few injuries throughout the duration of season 1 here, but he's always managed to get his body up for matches. He's got a couple of important ones, hopefully this afternoon, Dylan, so that'd be small space in his mind, I would have thought, maybe, but the task at hand is right now. They've got a nice little 1-set lead here, but currently they're behind on the scoreboard, down 3-6.
George has just entered the court. He looks okay. George is, it's widely known throughout the Australian big ball scene that if George didn't have these injury concerns, that he'd be a freakishly good player. He is already. But what he could achieve without those injuries. Joey Wild. Not having much luck with that one. I always have to say, by the way, Adam, Joey Wild always has the best hats in the tour.
He does. You don't see anyone else here wearing a bucket hat with the strap. Primary school kids, maybe. And then Joey Wild.
Yeah. I want to see him get sponsored by someone like a Kubra. Get a real Australian out there with the big hat.
Great cover there by George Wall.
Ooh, boy. The speed up. George Wall thought he had it. Townsend, cheeky grin, she realises, but gets the serve back anyway.
Townsend, I think, feels a bit lucky there. That ball was so attackable, and he went on the attack. He just didn't execute the shot.
Well, talking about execution, Joey Wild, on the other hand, pulls it off.
Really nicely done there by Wild. Set the play up. Just a nice little shove. Important with those shoves to be right on the kitchen line, and he was.
Sarah Burr getting pushed back and back with that dinking. Great play thus far for the duo of Townsend and Wild.
Just a little gusty at the moment. Potentially part of the reason why that one didn't go over. Wasn't a bad shot. Looked like it was executed well. It's just a nice little dink.
Oh, they are firing on all cylinders right now. Wild and Townsend, absolutely elite.
Yes, Burr there letting that one go. Looking back, hoping it was going long. Came in.
Second timeout here called from Burr and Wall. They will not have another timeout after this one. Recognising the momentum shift. Absolutely surging offense here from the duo of Danni-Elle and George.
And this is a nice little fight back here from Wild and Townsend. They were down earlier in the last game, eventually losing that one in a tight one. And they've just adapted so well to the change of ends here. Just still looking for Wall to potentially play a bit more aggressive pickleball. A couple of times he has, the shot hasn't really worked out. He's facing Townsend, who's performing just so well with her forehand rolls cross court to Sarah Burr. Just putting nice little pace on it to set up an error at times. Which pops up a bit too high and then she takes care of it. Jo Wild all over the court, being so creative.
Ooh, Townsend with the finger wave. Speed up, not there for George Wall.
I like how he went aggressive, but again, every time he seems to have gone aggressive, it hasn't worked out for him. And Townsend let him know about that one with the finger waggle.
Game point is put away. George, nothing he could have done against the offensive prowess of Joey Wild in that exchange. We have a game apiece.
Well, that was quite the turnaround there. That was quite the turnaround in that game. Obviously, the last one finished so closely, but this one was a bit of a blowout in the end. And as we change ends for the final time here, it's going to be interesting to see what the different tactics are. Been out on court for quite some time now, Dylan.
Well, one thing we definitely have to mention is the swapping at 6, as we do have the wind definitely in play. I felt the windy side right now, both teams that have won have been on the side with the wind at their back. So it's going to be very interesting to see how both teams form. It looks like Burr and Wall will be at the windy side starting first. How they can utilise that to get an early lead, we will see.
We certainly will. And they're just having a chat now is Wall and Burr. Definitely would want to see a little change in strategy here from the way that Wild and Townsend finished that game. Really strongly, really formidable looking. Sarah Burr bringing us into this third and final game of the semi-final here. Winner goes on. Just a return of serve error there from... Sorry, not a return of serve error. She was the server. Great play there by Burr and Wall. Just to force the error out of Wall. You don't see him hit too many into the net from that distance.
Yeah, there we go, nice and deep. And Adam, we should bring up that the winner of this game will go through to verse Amelia Schmidt and Mitchell Hargraves for the gold.
Well, what did we expect? We wouldn't have expected a final of the mixed without Schmidt and Hargraves. They are just dynamic.
Oh, they're elite, that's one way of putting it. The Sydney Smash duo coming in clutch once more. Oh, Danni-Elle Townsend, 3 times the defensive effort, couldn't get the last one over.
Great work there by Wall to be where he needed to be in the middle of that pickleball court to take a powerful forehand.
So good, flick to the right.
Nice little backhand push there Very much a table tennis style. Dual sport champion here, Danni-Elle Townsend.
Oh, there we go. Even with the wind in his face, Joey Wild, so much velocity off of his paddle, goes flying.
Case of the Robert Shaws there, maybe, Dylan. Did you hear that screeching out on court? We heard it last night.
Not wrong.
Players rushing into these kitchen lines and trying to slow down as quickly as they can, screeching on their feet.
So good from George Wall. Repetitive entries down the middle of the line. Very little that Townsend and Wild can do.
Yeah, excellent setup there by Wall himself. Just toying with both players there to get the pop-up, and did. Seeing Wall take the middle a bit more now.
Ah, and it opens it up. Sarah Burr straddling the kitchen line, perfection.
Well, it's a small change in strategy here, Dylan. Something needed to happen in this third game. Really well done there by Burr and Wall. Great communication.
Oh, the old third shot lob. We don't see that happen very often.
Well, there's almost a stall at the kitchen line. Townsend was going to let it go and then thought, no, I need to track this one, and it bounced in. And God, she just pirouetted around the back, dropped it in.
Oh, that is so fast. I don't know if the camera does it justice, ladies and gentlemen, but when that ball comes off of Joey Wild's paddle, it's very hard to return.
Burr was in great position. It literally was hit straight to her, but it was hit so fast that she barely got a chance to blink, and it went straight past her.
How good is that from George? Phenomenal footwork.
Unreal positioning there by George Wall. Started on his side as the heat got into that game. He took the middle. That's where he needed to be again. And when he was, hit at the feet of Townsend. Not much she could do.
There we go. Sarah Burr recognising the footwork of Joey Wild.
Almost a paddle clash there. We talked about that earlier. We knew that with these two players, it wasn't going to affect them. It was Burr's ball to hit, and she hit the winner.
ATP hits the post. There we go. We called it earlier. George hasn't done it all game. Yes. Townsend, consistent low strikes towards Sarah Burr.
Yeah, Burr just having to go lower and lower and lower to get the ball back. Couldn't go low enough on that one. Townsend just hitting that one into the net, just backing away from it when she probably could have taken that on the volley to get that one over. Not much of a speed up, but certainly a pacier shot that Wild hit there to Burr. Small error there by Burr. Well, we're seeing a lot of slow play at the moment, and both teams keen to pull the trigger. Just getting a little tighter in this game at the moment.
Oh, he's been caught again, Joey Wild, on that left side. Now there's a side out, currently 2-3.
Just a little unlucky there for that ball to catch the tape. Little confusion here about exactly what happened and who's got the serve.
Joey Wild's a gentleman. He'll acquiesce to the referee. Side out.
Great defence by Wall.
Down the middle, George getting caught reaching.
Probably just needed to be more in the centre of that pickleball court there to execute that shot. He's thinking about it though. Seeing more of a aggressive game now from George Wall. Realising what he has to do to challenge these two.
Too easy for George Wall.
Well, the tape's really getting involved now. A couple of times now. The ball's just connected with it, forcing the ball up high, popping it. Players adept to combat that, but makes it hard.
Hands are flying. Danni-Elle Townsend at the feet.
Well, I'm not sure if that was the plan to stay on the wrong side, but they were caught on the wrong side there. But Townsend certainly equipped to hit a winner.
Returning error, tied game. Ooh, that was up high at the forehead. George Wall getting out of the way.
Little headhunter there, Dylan. Wall popping down to let that one go long.
How good was that read? George was moving well before Danni-Elle struck that ball.
Well, we're into the third game now, Dylan, and players very comfortable out here.
Fifth shot drop error there. So, second serve up. George Wall, Sarah Burr would love to be starting to build some momentum in this early stages of game 3. Here we go, we may see it happen.
An error there by Wild, just pushing that one long. A bit disappointed with himself, but head back in the game now.
Ajax for momentum, quick 2 points at the rotation. Now this is where I mentioned the wind. So we've seen the offensive capabilities of Wild and Townsend. Can they utilise the wind? They won game 2 comfortably with the wind at their back.
Yeah, well, you made a really good point at the beginning of this match, Dylan, that both teams who have started with the wind at their back were the ones that were victorious in those games. Now, Wild and Townsend will get the benefit for the duration of this match. Could become a small factor here. Just the way that they read the conditions. We did see some good play from this end, though, where Wall and Burr will be. Definitely like the change of tactic, though. Sarah Burr just giving George Wall a bit more room to come into the middle of the court. Wall getting involved in play to make some more aggressive shots and finishing well. Townsend now up to her to adjust to what Wall's bringing to the table. See if she can.
Slow play. Works out for Danni-Elle Townsend.
Well, Townsend, I thought she was going to smash that overhead. Didn't hit it with any gusto, really. Consider themselves a little bit lucky they didn't into that point sooner. They would have liked to.
Oh, that is wide. How good was the footwork there from Danni-Elle Townsend? Transition to the net was perfect to then follow it up with an earning.
Well, she almost set up another opportunity earlier in the point, but Wall hit it cross court. But that time she recognised that he wasn't going to be able to hit it cross court. She pounced on that one. Excellent defence here by Townsend.
You know what they say, it's the easy one that you struggle on. Townsend, ridiculous effort to get the first two back. Third, unlucky, however. Second server, 5-6.
Just a little flat-footed there, George Wall. Just looked like a slow shot that he could have set up better for to get that one over.
You can see the wind grab that one, took it away. And that 2-point lead that Burr and Wall had quickly dissipated. Tied game. Sarah Burr to bring it in, 6-6-1. Down at the feed, Joey Wild pouncing on that one.
Well, so well done there by Wall. Just to defensively put that back into the kitchen. Looks like it's going a bit too high, but remember, they've got the wind facing into them, so that ball is going to slow down.
How good is that? Reaction there from Danni-Elle Townsend, recognising the awkward position of George Wall, puts it down to the feet as Sarah Burr cannot recover.
Just an excellent setup there by Wild, but the positioning of Danni-Elle Townsend to be where she needed to be for that pop-up.
Called wide. Confirmed wide. Second server.
Really impressed with Townsend. Every time that Wall's taken her on with her speed up, she gets it back. She generally sets up a pop-up for herself.
Incredible defense there, Danni-Elle Townsend. Defend, defend, defend. Give Joey Wild the opportunity to come in. Great team play.
Really happy with her efforts there. Nice, come on.
Called out. Townsend didn't think so.
Looked out from here, Dylan. Just going long.
Just a bit of a chat here between Burr and Wall. Flick of the wrist down the right side. Joey Wild, too easy.
Yeah, he really liked that one. Stalking the court now at the kitchen line is Joey Wild.
Called out. Sarah Burr's going to ask the question. Confirmed out. Side out.
Townsend, a little grateful for that one going out by the looks too.
Drop attempt goes wide. Joey Wild to retrieve it once more. This is such a close game for game 3.
Exciting finish here. It's all on the line. Winner going through to the final against Schmidt and Hargraves.
That is elite. Danni-Elle Townsend repeat plays at George Wall, catching him off guard.
I hope everyone is watching in appreciation here for what Townsend is doing. Every time she takes on George Wall, she's coming up trumps. Impressive stuff.
Neither team able to get a significant lead thus far in game 3. Burr and Wall be looking to tie things up.
The defence.
Well, I refer to her as the queen of the reset for a reason, Adam. That was crazy by Sarah Burr. George Wall, however, unable to get that return fire back. Second server. Oof, okay. She can defend, she can attack. Sarah taking Joey Wild on.
Hats off to Sarah Burr there.
Adam, I think the ladies have got the upper hand on the guys right now.
Great lob.
It's so hard to read too. She hides it so well, Sarah Burr, tying things up.
Well, she's so consistent with her approach to hitting that backhand that she can change it up at the last minute and put it in a different spot than you expect it. Tries her luck again.
Oh, so good from Joey Wild. Recognises the gap. Smacks it down the right. That's a side out. We have a tied game. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are playing to 11, win by 2. Game 3. Timeout here on the side of Danni-Elle, Townsend and Joey Wild.
Interesting call. They've just regained the serve there, and Wild and Townsend call the timeout. Looks like it might have been Wild's decision. Maybe just needs a little opportunity for a break to figure out how they want to finish this one, Dylan.
Well, one thing we have to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is Sunday. So these players have been playing all weekend. It doesn't hurt to have a couple of minutes on the side, bit of a drink break. Reassess those strategies, refocus, jump back into it. On the left side of the screen there, we can see Burr and Wall. They're probably appreciative of having a breather as well.
They certainly would be, but they're the ones that are coming back out of court first. They obviously know what they need to do here. Quick side out for them is just the recipe they're after. Townsend to bring us back into play here. So many defensive efforts needed now. Just to regain the serve, see what they can do.
Response, George Wall.
A win for Wall there, taking Townsend on. At times when he's taken her on, he hasn't come up trumps with it. But that one, great feet work just to get around the court, execute a brilliant forehand.
And again, George, clearly whatever was discussed in that timeout worked out for the duo of Wall and Burke because they have it back.
Yeah, great little fight back here from Wall.
Patient pickleball, Burr and Wall on top.
Hats off to Sarah Burr there. It's so difficult to defend at the baseline when you've got your teammate at the kitchen line because you know one wrong angle on that shot, you're going to put him in immediate danger there. She just kept it away from being able to hit towards him. And when it finally was, guess who finished the point? George Wall.
Called wide, and I have to ask the question, Adam, that timeout on the side of Townsend and Wild may have been a mistake. They had the momentum. Now they are facing a match point on the side of Sarah Burr and George Wall. Townsend not interested in any of that. Quick flick of the wrist. Catching George Wall off guard.
Saving one. Going back to what she knows. Hitting in the Wall direction.
Just long. Everyone held their breath. Townsend and Wild dodge a bullet.
Well, it was going long and looking wide, but then it looked like it was coming back in. Eventually did sail long.
Flick of the wrist, right side, 1 point in it.
Well, pulling the trigger there on a deep shot, just too high. This affair tightens a bit more now.
Speed up works in favour of Townsend. We have a tied game and a timeout on the side of Wall and Burr. Tremendous play, tremendous response from Townsend and Wild.
Well, Wild in that one really took a hold of the court positioning there. You saw him take multiple shots off Danni-Elle Townsend, but when it was Danni-Elle Townsend's time to shine, she was able to hit a pacey ball nice and low to the area of Wall. He got a paddle to it, but it pushed back into the net. Really important to time out now, I do believe, for Wall and Burr. Scores are back level 10-10. Going to have to win by 2 here. They don't have the serve. They'll have to defend.
Got a question for you, Adam. What's the highest score of pickleball you've seen with traditional scoring?
Not very high at all. I don't even think I've seen one get past 16.
Yeah, okay.
But is today the day?
Well, I mean, the talent on display right now could definitely happen. 10-10, Townsend to bring it in. Game back underway. Oh, the wind took it away. Joey Wild cannot believe it.
Oh, he considers himself very unlucky there. And it's gusting now. Just came 2 seconds too late.
Speed up is good. George is pumped.
Well, that was a great read there by George Wall. He hit it with just enough pace to force Townsend to pounce on it quicker than she would have liked to, and she hit it too long. Great little shove there by Joey Wild. Just catching Sarah Burr a little too far back. She would have liked to be a bit more forward.
Toyota jump does the job. Sarah Burr getting the point.
Well, to miss that shot at this time, Dylan, to give up serve, hopefully it doesn't prove to be fatal, but Wall and Burr with a great opportunity now.
Oh, Townsend, pressure irrelevant, flicking that down at the feet of George Wall.
And just time and time again, whenever Wall has gone to take on Townsend, Townsend has just come up with trumps every single time.
Oh, how good is that from Joey Wild?
Well, the movement may have been quite off-putting there for Wall. He probably considers himself very lucky not to have seen an Ernie attempt there by Danni-Elle Townsend, but great positioning by Wild to be there for a winner.
That is your highlight play, ladies and gentlemen. We have a foot fault request on the side of George Wall.
Now, Wall is querying if that was, not sure of the term, sorry, Dylan, but he's querying the call because you heard Wild cheering before Wall was able to make contact with his paddle on that. And I have to agree, it's worth querying. And I believe they're changing the call here. And it's an interesting one. It's a tight final. Yep, and Wild's called for a timeout here. Well, Dylan, this is a huge momentum shifter. Absolutely huge. So what's happened here is Wild's hit a winner, but before George Wall was able to contact the ball with the paddle, Wild started cheering, and Wall's queried the call, and the referee, we believe, has actually agreed here.
Well, at the end of the day, it's the ref's call, and it's still a tight game, 11 apiece. I know the crowd were on their feet with that absolutely ridiculous play on the side of Joey Wild and Danni-Elle Townsend. And you have to ask the question, Adam, can they clear that from their mind for the duo of George Wall and Sarah Burr? They're ready to go. They're back on court. They've got the result they're looking for.
Well, I can't help but think it's going to be playing on their mind. They would have thought this game was almost over, Wild and Townsend, had that not have happened.
High stakes pickleball here, ladies and gentlemen, for your PPA Tour Australia semi-finals. Joey Wild still has a serve in his pocket. Currently 11-11-2. Play can recommence.
So I believe what we've had is a hindrance call,
yep.
Dylan.
Yep, that is correct. Clearly, it's worked in favour of George Wall and Sarah Burr. They immediately get it back.
And there's just been some atmosphere taken out of the venue right now. I think the crowd is sensing that this match has just turned.
Yep. Turning it has. Sarah Burr too good down the right. It's almost like in the NBA when you see someone get in trouble for dunking and hanging on the rim, right? It's exactly what's occurred to Joey Wild. Regardless, we have a match point situation here for George Wall, Sarah Burr. Not the case. Joey making an absolute racket on the error there. Burr and Wall get another attempt. Oh my goodness, Joey Wild, he's fired up. What a response. They are giving it to George.
Well, the match has turned a couple of times here, Dylan, and it's turning back in the favour of Wild and Townsend. This is huge, and the crowd is gathering around us as we speak.
Down to the feet again, tight game. Stare down, Joey is so fired up right now.
Well, it means a lot to him. It means a lot to Townsend as well. And he's just steadied himself now. The adrenaline's sure to be pumping through all players right now.
Down to the feet, classy by Wall. Response is there. They have to get it back once more. Down to the feet once more, Joey Wild coming up clutch time and time again. They now find themselves with a match point situation. We have a timeout on the side of George Wall, Sarah Burr. They recognise the momentum shift.
Well, can't have any timeouts left after this one, Dylan.
You got the resource there, might as well use it. And let me tell you, Adam, ladies and gentlemen, it is so tense right now.
It's so tense, and if you're only just joining us, there was a hindrance call by George Wall against Joey Wild. Wild and Townsend set up the point so well. Wild hitting an overhand smash and cheering quite loudly and provocatively. George Wall still was looking to make a play on the ball. Wild and Townsend were busy celebrating when Wall went over to the referee and asked for a hindrance call and was awarded it. Wild and Townsend could not believe it. They've had to arrest back the momentum. And they're now serving for the match, Dylan.
That's right. Momentous occasion. Down the middle, Joey Wild fired up. They are going through to the goal.
Well, you can just hear the crowd in absolute appreciation for it all. Wall and Wild just having a chat now about the call. It'll be interesting to see these players both watch this replay, to be honest, Dylan. I tend to agree with George Wall, but that becomes irrelevant now because Wild and Townsend have picked up the victory here.
Yeah, well, we've gone from one fired-up game to no doubt another where we will have the duo of Wild and Townsend taking on Hargraves and Schmidt. for your gold medal here at the PPA Tour Australia, live from Focus Pickleball Redcliffe. Adam Hall, what a terrific game that was to call.
Another treat, Dylan. So glad to be here.
Not wrong indeed. We have our gold medal and I believe our bronze medal as well coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen, later on. Stick around for the streams. We look forward to showcasing you the gold medal game straight on Show Court 1 right here after these messages from our sponsors.